Morning, YouTube Pipe community. Joining you on another fantastic Saturday. I just got back from my church's men's group meeting. That was such a good and fruitful time with fellow guys of the church that are, kind of walking through the same paths of life that I am. So it was energizing, to say the least. I mean, I met a couple new guys, and was able to share what I'm going through. They were able to share what they were going through. I was able to offer some good insight, and I felt comforted. I hope others did too, through what I had to say. So that was really nice. It was the first time that I've been to one. Ever since, starting church, I haven't been really willing, I guess, to go on Saturday mornings, just because it's one of the only times that, my family and I have time to relax and slow down. But one of the things we talked about today is slowing down, and how you will never find the time to slow down if the desire to find the time comes second. And I thought about that, and man, it really translated to my pipe smoking as well. This morning, I'm going to be smoking Seattle Pipe Club's Mississippi River. This will be the first time I've smoked it. Man, that pepper note, as soon as you crack the tin and stick your sniffer in there, it really kind of hits you in the face. But you can smell the Latakia and the Orientals, which I love. It really tingles your nose. I think this is going to be a good one. I haven't smoked all the Seattle Pipe Club blends. I've only smoked plum pudding in the past, but I really like it. I like it a lot. At the beginning, I wasn't too sure about it. I smoked it, once, and I actually smoked it in a brand new pipe. I purchased a tin of plum pudding, as well as a Bing's favorite that I believe I've shown on another video, and I was getting this metallic taste, and I didn't know what it was. At the beginning, I did use honey in the bowl, and I was thinking, oh, maybe I used a little bit too much honey to start, the breaking in process. But so I just thought it was the honey. And then as I continued smoking, I was like, I don't know, the second or third time, I was like, out of that pipe, I thought to myself, man, this metallic taste just isn't going away. And I thought, well, I guess it must be the plum pudding, the tobacco. I maybe it's just not for me. Maybe I'm just picking up something that I just don't like. But over time, that started going away with plum pudding. I let it sit for a long time because I thought I didn't like it, and I came back to it a little bit later and decided I really do like this stuff. It's a dark, deep English. I love English tobacco, or mixtures, especially on a gray day like today in Chicago. So this will be the perfect day to try a new English blend, an Oriental blend with Mississippi River. Today I'm going to smoke it out of my Peterson Dracula. Nice little pipe, hangs off the jaw. Shout out to Rambling Piper. He's new to our community. I love his videos. So thanks for making good content, friend. That was a nice little walk on the beach that you had the other day. So I really enjoyed that. I just got done walking my Australian Shepherd here in the Chicago suburbs. Not quite the same, but it's still a nice enough day. So I'm just gonna load my pipe. Bear with me here. Just gonna kind of stuff it in, and we'll see what happens. It's a little moist, so not too sure how many lights this is gonna take. Might take a bit. Maybe I'll smoke a little bit of it now, and if it gives me trouble, I'll set it aside and let it rest, let it dry out for a while. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, we were talking this morning about just slowing down and how important that is, and how lucky we are, some of us, to be able to find time to slow down and to really just think, to bowl it over, as they say, to find time to get introspective and discover who you are and what you believe and what you think, instead of the go, or what's the next form of entertainment I can consume? What's the next YouTube video? What else can I do to occupy my mind so I don't have to think about the hard things? I think it's really important to dedicate time for those things, to not let those things come second. Pipe smoking is one thing that helps me with that. It forces me to sit down, to go through the mechanical motions with my hands and with my breath. And with that, I think it's meditative in a way. There comes a slowness and a quiet. So smoke with me right now in the quiet. Let's just give it a second while I light my pipe and just a little bit ago, there's a new guy that I met this morning. And as we were on our way out, I had mentioned, that I'm new to faith. And on my way out, he said, "Wow, you've only been doing this thing for a year?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Man, I'd really like to pick your brain." He said he's had a lot of trouble with his friends and the crowd that he interacts with on a day-to-day basis, and who he hangs out with. And he said that a lot of them are atheists. And I said, "Yeah, I was an atheist for most of my life." And he said, "What brought you here?" And I said, "Read C.S. Lewis. Read Mere Christianity. That's a good start." So I'm not good at, picking out certain notes or that kind of thing. I kind of know what I like, what I dislike. Right off the bat, this is very smooth. Not really detecting the preak just yet. But now as I say that, and I'm talking and I stop for a moment, I can feel that spiciness creep up the back of my tongue. Partly because of the preak, I'm sure, but also partly because of the Orientals. It's not staying lit. That's okay. Anyway, I hope you're having a wonderful day. today I was going to read you something. Once again, I talked about this a few videos ago, but Timber and Smokes magazine. This is an awesome, awesome publication. Perfect for the pipe smoker. It's nice to just have something to kind of leaf through. Reading articles and poetry and things like that, just by other pipe smokers that share the same interest. And I've written a couple times. For, I believe, the second magazine, I wrote a poem, which I can read at some point. But I also wrote an article in the December issue of Timber and Smoke about my trip to Ewan Rees and Company in Chicago. It's a great historic pipe shop. You walk in and it's like walking into a time machine. And the people there are just excellent. Best of the best work there. They have a great selection of pipes and tobacco. I went with my family to the Chicago Christkindl market, and we were close by, so I asked my parents if they wanted to stop by, and they said sure. You know, they wanted to check out some of the places that I see and like and hang out at, and so we went to Ewan Rees, and my dad, who's not a cigar or cigarette smoker at all, he uses chewless tobacco, but my dad decided after we had had a few beers at the local pub that he wanted to try a cigar. So I got him talking with one of the guys that work behind the counter there at Ewan Rees, and they got him a cigar, and we sat down in the lounge. He started smoking. I have a great picture of him. He looks like he's a mob boss or something, with his legs crossed in the lounge chair, sitting back and smoking a big cigar. I love it. Always remember that. So I figured I could read a little bit of my article in Timber and Smoke magazine. Shout out to Timber and Smoke. He does great work. He has an awesome YouTube channel and Instagram as well. So check him out. So I'm going to light my pipe one more time, see if we can get it going here. And I'll read a little bit before I go. Ewan Rees and Company. Few destinations carry the weight of history and charm for pipe smokers quite like Ewan Rees and Company in Chicago. Established in 1857, the shop proudly claims the title of the oldest family-owned tobacconist in the United States. Through economic upheavals, 2 world wars, and a cultural shift against tobacco, Ewan Rees has endured as a haven for those devoted to the smoking pipe. I first discovered the shop's existence while leafing through a digitized issue of a 1940s pipe and tobacco magazine. When I realized the shop was still operating, my mission became clear. This was a pilgrimage I had to make to enrich my pipe smoking experiences. Days later, as I opened the door to 19 South Wabash Avenue, Chicago, with my friends Brian and Nick, I felt as if I was stepping through the threshold to a time out of sight and out of mind. How did we end up here, in this speakeasy for the thinking man, a hideaway from the scorching summer sun in the hustle and bustle of the second city? Like many, my journey to being a pipe smoker weaves in and out of my other lifelong hobbies. Mainly, my journey is rooted in literature. The Lord of the Rings has shaped my imagination since childhood. From Tolkien, I wandered into C.S. Lewis, epic medieval poetry, and eventually Dungeons & Dragons. One evening, during a D&D session, my friend Brian noticed my pipe resting nearby. To my surprise, he too was a pipe smoker. And Brian and I hang out still, and we've been going to the Chicago Pipe Collectors Club together a lot, and I think we'll be going there next weekend. And then the weekend after, he's going to be hosting a party dedicated to the Scottish poet Burns, and we'll be having a party at his house where people will be reciting poetry and eating Scottish food, and hopefully smoking pipes and some cigars. Anyway, it can take years to find kindred spirits. Yet with many sharing the love for hobbits, camaraderie can ultimately manifest itself like wisps of smoke on a cool autumn night. It was with Brian and our friend Nick that I decided to finally make the journey to Ewan Rees and Company. With my friends Brian and Nick, we walked the quarter mile from a nearby coffee shop to the nondescript street-level door of the building. It looked like your run-of-the-mill entry into a city apartment complex, but a bronze sign out front read, Ewan Rees and Company, tobacconist since 1857. I wouldn't have known this was the place I had heard about if the sign wasn't present. I won't read the entire thing. I'll kind of skim a little bit. On the elevator, the smell of stale tobacco was ever present, settled into the tile under our feet and the wood-paneled walls. The elevator stops and we depart, leaving the girl, the city streets behind. We gain our surroundings. Was this elevator a time machine? Did H.G. Wells reside here, leaving his creation for the weary traveler to stumble by? It looks like it's 1953. The walls are all dark walnut wood panels. A small chandelier casts a soft light of an old indoor phone booth. Swivel seat still present, but phone absent. Vintage cigar and pipe decorations are on display along with an old cigarette dispenser. A sword, the very weapon of King Arthur himself for all I know, is plunged in a stone, serving as an ad for Excalibur cigars. Walking down the dimly lit hall, I think of men in pinstripe wool suits so long ago walking in on their lunch break from the office, with a pipe in their mouth and a newspaper under their arm. I felt like one of them. The aroma that washed over us as we stepped into that place, that leathery heaviness of pipe tobacco, indicative of careful thought, end-of-day easy chairs and gentle pleasures, wafts around us like smoke hanging in the air on a dewy night. That smell hung in the air, instantly filling my thoughts with memories of my grandfather puffing at his cigar, working on his lawn tractor out in the barn. I thought of my own study, the door closed from the responsibilities of my family life after my wife and daughter had gone to sleep. A counter sits to the side of the room, with a congenial older fellow in a suit and tie standing there, puffing an aromatic mixture of a pleasant sort. He nods hello, and as soon as I think he's about to make a sales pitch, he asks, "Pipe or cigar, men?" Just one moment. "Mostly pipes," I answer, as my friends generally answer the same. "Ah," he smiles, "I knew it. It's the beards and glasses. We're all alike. Hey, let me see your pipes there. Go take a look around and I'll ream them out for you. If you want to sample any house blends, let me know." I gave him my first pipe, a wire brush rusticated Brigham. A fine pipe and one that will always fill my heart with joy, as it was the entryway to the life I now cherish, that of a pipesman, a lover of the leaf. It was a gesture of gentlemanly trust to hand this old codger my pipe, a new friend of the briar. Anyway, that's just a little taste of my article in Timber and Smoke magazine. Check it out. I'll link in below. You can subscribe to the magazine. It comes out. Well, it was coming out on a monthly basis. I'm not sure if it'll be coming out monthly anymore or by season, but there are all kinds of good things in here, and it's really only one of the only pipe magazines in print at this time. So check it out. It's really awesome. Michael Dean does it. You can see his bio there. Anyway, thanks for stopping by my study today. I'm having a wonderful day, and I really wanted to get this video done while I was really feeling on a high note. God bless you all. Smoke a pipe today, sit down, just chill. Have a nice day.